It's been important for us since day one to establish a foundation with guys that have high character, that are hard workers, and want to buy into our core values. Our staff has worked extremely hard with really this past year. It goes back to last February after signing day of trying to find the best recruits, the best guys that fit our system, the best guys that fit our program and our university. And there's no doubt in my mind they did a great job of going out and targeting those guys. It's more about, we're going to evaluate on tape. All these young men, obviously on tape, are very good football players, and there's a lot of them across the country. But what's more important is finding the right guys and targeting what their character's like. How much do they love football? How competitive are they? How competitive are they in the classroom as well on the football field? Trying to find great leaders. Those are intangible things that sometimes you can't see on tape that you really have to start digging a little deeper, talking to coaches, talking to the administrators around the school, with their families, with their friends in the community. How do they hold themselves and how do they represent their school? And there's no doubt in my mind we've targeted the right guys, and we got a great group of men. We had some key areas that we felt like needed to be addressed immediately in this upcoming class, whether it be from guys we graduated and the returners and some of that depth, or what we want to do schematically. The two areas that really in this class most definitely had to be addressed were, one was offensive line and the other one was receiver. And that doesn't mean that we didn't address other position needs as well. Those were the two top priorities coming into this thing. And there's no doubt in my mind, I think we've signed a solid class, especially in those two areas. Evaluating talent and recruiting the right kind of kids, the hardest thing we do as coaches. There's really no blueprint from it. And the thing that you have to do is, again, be determined and be relentless, grind every single day, and again, competing and going up and going out there and selling our brand, what North Texas has to offer. Tier 1 university, unbelievable education, great facilities. We're continuing to move forward with things we're doing here, taking care of our student athletes, and there's a lot of great things to sell here. In recruiting, obviously, it's a grind, as you see over the past couple of weeks, just through all the transition. And at this time of the year, different staffs taking place. You're going to be in some battles. We won some of these battles and we lost some of these battles. But at the end of the day, I will tell you this. The one thing I know our staff has done is gone out and targeted the right guys. Whenever Power 5 schools are trying to come in and take your guys, you're on the right guys. Now, for us, it's continuing to make sure that we target the right guys. We continue to evaluate, trust what we see on tape, and continue to build those relationships moving forward to where every year we'll get stronger and stronger. With that, I'll open it up for questions.
This is your first full recruiting cycle. Mm-hmm. You had the full year to go. So what was the reception like from high school coaches and junior college guys and just everybody across the board?
Reception's been great, and we've, especially in these 4 counties and what we call our home base area, our in-state area is what I call it, is we got 7 coaches in those 4 counties, and making sure that they hit all the schools, making sure they build relationships in the schools, not with only the coaches, but also the administration, in the community, building relationships. This is still a people business, and they've done a great job of that. I had the opportunity to go out here probably the last 4 weeks and hit most of those schools, all of them that I could. And again, just going in and not so much going in who you got, just building relationships with the coaches. And a lot of these guys have come up here, and so we've already established that relationship. But just going out in the community and seeing those guys on their campus has been great, and they've been very welcoming. There's a positive vibe out there about what we're doing and about the foundation we're setting, and the future. They're excited about the future.
How much do you think your success on the field this past season helped in recruiting this class?
There's no doubt winning helps. It doesn't matter where you're at, and it's all obviously going to help with recruiting. But we have a lot to sell here. I think a lot of it is due to the fact, I think it's more so that they know we're on the right track. We're setting a solid foundation we have a vision of where we want this program to go, and quite honestly, it's not a hard place to sell. It's a great university. We have a lot of things exciting going on here. We have a great administration who is taking great care of our student athletes and only continuing to do more every single day. And so with our relationships with our president, our athletic director, the board of regents, and myself, there's a lot of great things to be excited about.
How important was the wide receiver spot going into this year? You mentioned that was one of your key areas. Did you really feel like that was something that you had to have this time around?
Yeah, again, just depth. We didn't have a lot of numbers, and we had some attrition there, especially this last season. Guys that have moved on and/or guys that are no longer with us. So we had to play some really young guys. We played some freshmen. Rico was a guy that played a lot this past year early, and then he ended up getting hurt and missed the last probably 6 or 7 games, and then got back to bowl prep to where he's back to healthy and go through bowl prep and ended up starting the game and had a good game. Tyler Wilson's another guy that played a lot as a true freshman, and so just to continuing to get quality guys, guys that can take the top off of it, guys that can run good routes, good ball skills. I mean, that's something schematically what we do. We just got to continue to make sure that we have the personnel that fits what we're trying to accomplish.
You mentioned the offensive line is another point of emphasis with this class. Do you expect these guys to be able to come in and compete for a starting job right off the bat?
I expect for everybody in this class to come in and compete for a starting job. And here's the thing, I don't promise anybody anything. I never will. In recruiting, I think that's unfair to them. And quite honestly, if I told them that, then it wouldn't be the truth. Everybody's going to earn what they get here. They're going to come in and compete. My expectation for every guy that we sign, I have high expectations for them. I want them to come in, be prepared, for when they get here this summer, that they're not caught behind. Make sure they're competing like they want to win a job. And then from there, we'll decide what's best, what's in your best interest. It's our job as coaches to put them in the best situations to be successful. If they're ready, for a lot of different reasons, whether it's the speed of the game, whether it's learning the offense or the scheme or the defense. If they're ready, as you know me, I'm going to play them. If it's not in their best interest, yes, we would love to redshirt them. Quite frankly, you'd love to redshirt every single kid and develop them for a year, and maybe they'll be ready as a redshirt freshman. But some of them are good enough to play right now, and some of them you need to play right now.
Who are those guys that are good enough to play right now and will be important for you this
season? I'm not going to go there. That'd be really right. I mean, that would be a unfair assumption. Again, obviously, every guy that is on this list, we evaluated. We love their tape, not only their highlight tape, but their game film. We love their character, their personality, what they're bringing to the table. Every year is different, right? Sometimes the guy in the class that no one's expecting comes in and he's the future star. So whoever comes in and they're ready, they're ready. But I will say this, I have high expectations for all of them.
You blue shirted a lot of guys last year. Is that a strategy you'll use this year, and how many players do you anticipate blue shirting to the next year's class?
We blue shirted 5 this past year, which obviously gave us 20. And so moving forward, I mean, we'll see. I don't know how many we're going to blue shirt. And at the end of the day, we're going to keep evaluating talent and guys that we feel are guys that we want to be a part of our program. And so moving forward, we'll just continue to do what's necessary according to your numbers.
So you do anticipate that there will be some players that will blue shirt in this next class?
I anticipate, without getting into much detail.
Coach Cade Pearson was the only quarterback in the class. What did you like about him on tape and during the recruiting process?
He has a live arm. Obviously, he throws the ball around a lot, plays in a system very similar to what we do, and is very comfortable in it. And then also, he's not just a guy that's going to sit back there and be a sitting duck. He has good feet in the pocket. He can get out and he can escape. He can run well enough to hurt you. If need be, he can hold hats. And so felt like he was just a good fit for our system, and obviously the quality of a person he is and his family, just understanding his background and where he's coming from. There's no doubt in my mind he's going to be a future great leader for our program.
Tyreek Davis is a guy that was productive on both sides of the ball throughout his high school career. Is there any thought of maybe using him on the offensive side?
No, we're going to let him stick to defense right now. But I will tell you this, just he's one of those kids that you turn on the tape and he's all over the place. He makes plays everywhere. And here's what, going out there and recruiting these kids and watching their tape is one thing, but then go to the high schools they played and talk to those coaches, see what they thought about some of these guys that you're recruiting. And everybody that I've talked to confirms what we saw on tape, that he's a really good football player, and I think he's gonna do really special things for us.
He's also a Denton kid. How important is that to be able to recruit here in your backyard?
Yeah, absolutely, and we want to continue to recruit in this area, and obviously we talked about it in these 4 counties especially, and that's just, making sure we target those guys early enough, making sure they're great fits, and we want guys to stay home. Stay home, do something special, help us compete for championships. That's what we're looking for.
Trevon Bradley ended up signing with Houston today, and McNeil ends up going to FAU. Were there some adjustments you made late in the recruiting period to get to where you are today with this class? You're
always making adjustments, but I can tell you this, it wasn't the adjustments to where I was going to go out and reach. There are already guys that we had evaluated, targeted, and offered, for a lot of various reasons. There's a lot goes into it, again, from guys you may offer early, or somehow it all kind of works back around in a way to where you just keep that relationship alive. You communicate the right way. All sides are transparent with one another, and if there's spots you like them, we take them.
You signed 2 running backs in this class. Was that a position that you targeted because Willie is no longer with the program and Jeff's going to be in his senior year?
We got 2 after, we got a couple after this next year that will graduate, and so obviously making sure that we have enough depth for one. The second thing, we really initially we're not planning on signing 2 running backs. We were planning on signing 1 running back. But you look at either one of those kids, turn on the tape. I'll take them all over again every single day.
You had a lot of playmakers, running backs, wide receivers, guys like that in this class. Considering the guys that you lost, did you just need more playmaking talent heading into next year? Obviously.
I mean, when you turn on the tape, you're looking to continue to get great speed, being able to stretch the field, and guys that are talented enough to, when they have the ball in their hands, how many times are they running the football? A lot of times the quarterback athletes, they touch it every single play, so they're used to making dynamic plays. And then it's a matter of how do they fit in the system, where do they fit, and as long as you have the numbers and the fits, it's great. But I think another thing is I look at is if I turn on the tape, sometimes, we talked about it last night, Coach Maynard and I. Sometimes you're not expecting to take more than 1 of these in a class, and you turn the tape on, and they're that good of a football player, you're like, I'm taking them. We want great football players here.
This class probably on paper won't be particularly highly ranked when it comes down to recruiting services and people that judge those kinds of deals. Do you feel like you got a good class, and does that?
I think we got a great class. And to be honest with you, I know it's coach talk, but it's, me, it's true. I don't care about stars. What I trust is how we evaluate what we see on tape, and again, like we talked about earlier, it goes even way deeper than that. What kind of character do they have? Do they fit our core values? Do they fit what we believe in? So I think we have an unbelievable class. Turn on the tape, watch them. I think you will too.
Thanks, Coach.
Great, thank you.
broadcast covering signing class number 2 under Seth Luttrell. I'm Dave Barnett. Welcome to the football facility near Apogee Stadium. And momentarily we'll be joined by Seth Luttrell. He'll talk about his second recruiting class. We can show you the list at this point of the letters of intent who have been signed as of this morning. And they include some who may contribute immediately. Last year's recruiting class included an immediate starter at quarterback, for example, in Mason Fine. Kate Pearson, quarterback from Texarkana, Texas High School, who is already enrolled, a mid-year transfer as a high school senior, graduating early, already on campus, heads the list of skill position signees. Evan Johnson from LaRanger High School in Louisiana, and Trey Siggers from Duncanville, the running backs in this year's class. Jalen Guyton, originally signed a couple of years ago with Notre Dame, redshirted there last year at Trinity Valley Community College in East Texas, out of Allen High School. Jalen Guyton heads the wide receiver class this year. The rest, including Jalen Darden from Aldine Eisenhower in Houston, Greg White from Riverdale, Georgia, and then to the offensive lineman, Jacob Brammer from Foster High School in Richmond, Texas. Jevin Pahinui from the College of the Siskiyous, a JUCO offensive lineman. Manasseh Mose from Trinity High School in Euless. Dakota Newman from Mansfield Timberview, and Brian Parrish from Arlington Seguin High School, also among the offensive line signees. On the defensive side up front, Tony Krasnicki from Saxe, Dion Noville from Abilene Wiley, Cody Fulp from China Spring, Chris Thornton, linebacker from Amarillo Palo Duro. Some of the other defensive signees in the secondary, including Cameron Johnson from Reagan Heights High School in Houston, Tyreek Davis from here in Denton from Ryan High School, a two-sided star for the Ryan Raiders at running back and at linebacker, projecting as a defensive back, and Mikhail Sanders from Tyler Lee High School. Mid-year, Jalen Guyton, Jevin Pahinui, Kate Pearson, as we said, enrolled after graduating early from Texas High School in Texarkana, so already on campus. And we are joined now by Seth Luttrell to talk about his second recruiting class. How different was it to have a full year, a season, a record to go on as one of the most improved teams in the country, a bowl bid, as opposed to last year when you had 2 months to put together your first class? How different was it this year?
It was a lot different, man. Obviously, it's a lot better way to do things. But we're extremely excited about this class. You know, we've been working hard. Our staff does an unbelievable job out there grinding the road, and the biggest thing is building relationships. I think they've worked tirelessly on making sure that we target the right kids that fit our system on and off the field, and making sure that we get guys with great character and love football, that are tough, competitive guys. There's no doubt in my mind in this class we got that, and we got filled some needs that we had. I'm very excited about the work they put in, and about this class we're having coming next year. One
of the nice things about having a season under your belt is all along you can observe and target and keep track of guys that you pretty well know that you want to recruit, and they can in turn see what kind of product you're about.
Absolutely. And again, it goes back to evaluating, and the amount of kids we watched over this past year, I wouldn't even know the number, but it's every single day, that's what you're doing. Every single morning, that's how we start the day. We always, turn on video and watch at least 5 to 7 kids every morning as a staff before we ever get to our staff meeting. So, again, just trusting your evaluation. Make sure you continue to target, find guys, obviously, and just making sure they fit you and fit what your culture is, and establishing your core values. And our coaches did a great job of finding those guys and good fits.
Let's put back up the graphic and let Seth talk player by player about the signees. And let's first of all talk about Kate Pearson, quarterback who's already here on campus from Texarkana. What attracted you to him?
Oh, obviously he's a great fit for our system. It's what he did in high school, throwing the ball around, and a system very similar to ours. Obviously he has the arm strength to make the throws, but the biggest thing you see is he also He's not just a guy that's going to sit back there that's a sitting duck. You know, he has good feet in the pocket. He can step up. He can make plays with his feet, stretching the field, and he can hold hats. So, to me, he's a great fit for what we're doing in our system. And then obviously, him getting here mid-year really helps for him to develop Coach Womack, continue to grow, get bigger, stronger, and faster, and learn the system.
This time last year, there was a kid named Nason Fine that most people in Texas had not heard of. He was a star in Oklahoma. And people thought, well, I'm sure he'll redshirt. And by week 2, he's starting. Does Cade Pearson have that kind of potential?
We'll see. Every player is different. You know, it's over the years, you think maybe the guys that would come in and help you right away, sometimes they don't adapt to the speed of the game as well as other ones. There's a lot that goes into it, making sure that just learning the system. How quick can you process everything? The speed of the game. Some of it's needs, you know, at different positions and depth. And so a lot of things play into it, but there's no doubt in my mind I have high expectations for him.
So back to the skill position graphic, and under Cade Pearson, we had some of the running backs. And one of whom, from Louisiana, Evan Johnson, announced on live TV yesterday from Duncanville, Trey Siggers. What stood out about them to you?
Well, they're both very dynamic football players. To be honest with you, Evan's been a guy that we've been on for a long time. We targeted early in the process, and a really good football player, and someone that we offered early and built a relationship with. And just the more you got to know him, the more special you knew he was going to be. You turn on the tape, he can fly. He can stretch the field, and he's a big home run hitter. Trey, again, and then also with Evan, he also plays the slot. So he's a dynamic guy that plays in and out of the backfield, a quarterback, running back, slot. And Trey's they're very similar, but a little bit different. You know, Trey is a guy that has been here, didn't play as a junior, had to sit out his junior year, and then obviously took a team that had won 3 or 4 games the previous year and 3 rounds deep in the playoffs. And you know, the one thing you see about my man Trey is doesn't matter if it's offense, defense, receiver, quarterback, safety, linebacker, he's very physical. He loves to play football. You know, talking to a coach this past week going to their school who had to play against Trey, he was like, there's no way, I didn't think there was any way he would be able to play both sides of the ball and stay fresh. He said in the 4th quarter, he was still bringing it every snap, and he very competitive. So, again, very dynamic player, and we're very fortunate to get both those guys and blessed to have them.
Jalen Guyton, mid-year, started out at Notre Dame to Trinity Valley. Notre Dame was on him, signed him, says everything about his abilities.
Well, there's no doubt about his abilities. You know, he can stretch the field, has great ball skills. He runs great routes. But the thing is, you know, he's played in the system growing up over in Allen High School that he played in a system that he caught a lot of balls, you know, and he had great opportunities and good coaching. And, you know, Coach Smiley did a great job over there of continuing that and developing his skills. And he made a lot of plays for them this past year. And there's no doubt in my mind that we have high expectations for him here as well.
Back to the list of signees today with head coach Seth Luttrell, and we move through the rest of the offensive signees and 2 other wide receivers, Jalen Darden and Greg White.
Yeah, obviously very different type players. You know, one's a slot, one's more outside, a longer kid. We definitely needed needs for both, but we needed some more length on the outside receiver. And Greg, no doubt, has that. And the one thing you know about Greg, he can really stretch the field. You know, he caught a lot of balls this past season, and again, another guy that is very competitive on and off the field, fits our system, what we're trying to do, and you know, gives you that you know, rangier outside guy that can stretch the field and go make plays over the top of people.
Jalen Darden could return punts, as we can see.
Well, he's a great return man, but again, a guy that you know needed a slot, and there's no doubt in my mind he can play slot. But the thing with Jalen is he can do a number of things for you. I mean, he can play wildcat quarterback. He can play in the slot. He can play at your running back. Kind of like very similar to how we used a player at some of my previous spots, in and out of the backfield. And so, one thing we've targeted were great football players and guys that were dynamic when they had the ball in their hands. And there's no doubt in my mind he fits it. And, I think he's a really good football player.
Offensive line, last year you had to scramble, change the lineup week to week on the fly, so there were obvious needs there.
Yeah, there's needs, depth issues, just a matter of getting enough depth, getting enough guys that fit your system, what you do, what you're trying to get accomplished offensively and schematically. And there's no doubt in my mind we got 5 really good ones.
Remember Pahanui, Mose, Newman, and Parrish. Presumably all will get a chance to start right away or contribute right away.
We don't promise anybody they can come in and start. Well, we promise everybody you come in here, you grind, you work hard, and you compete. If you're the best guy, you play. And at the end of the day, it's we'll see again, kind of like earlier. Everybody's a little bit different. Some guys may need more time than others. But we have high expectations for all those guys. I think they're really great. It's a great class. I think Coach David did a great job of targeting the guys that he wanted early. And we got a really good O-line class.
All right, Seth. Now you can sleep more than 2 or 3 hours a night.
I'm going to sleep really good tonight if you only knew. Thank you.
Thank you, Seth. Congratulations
Appreciate
on year 2. That's head coach Seth Luttrell. The upcoming schedule now in 2017. Let's take a look at who the Mean Green will be taking on next fall. Kara Bullock had a chance earlier to visit with Bryce English.
I'm here with redshirt sophomore defensive lineman Bryce English. Bryce, around this time last year, you were getting offers from U of H and SMU. So what was it about UNT that kind of pulled you in?
With UNT, it was just the opportunity to come in with Coach Luttrell and their coaching staff, and they just had a whole era they were just trying to bring that didn't. So I just decided to buy into it and basically try to become something different than trying to go to a school and trying to rebuild that school. Because here in Denton, it's like a, I don't know how to say it, like a gold mine basically. So that's why I came here.
So we all know Big ZO, Big Zach
Yeah.
Orr. He's like a big brother to
yeah.
you. So did he have any influence on your decision?
He did a lot. Him and Terrence Orr, his little big brother that's at DeSoto, was telling me to reach out to him, and he just been in my area ever since, and just telling me, man, the opportunity is there for you at UNT. Just take it, go in, work hard, and make the most of it.
Okay, so anybody who reads your tweets,
Yeah.
your Instagram posts, they can tell that you
Right.
you are so excited
Yeah.
about being back on the field. So
Right.
where is all that enthusiasm and that fire coming from?
I'm just from being doubted my whole high school career. 'Cause I wasn't the tallest defensive tackle, but I was still ranked high. So just the pressure that's being put on me and people just waiting for me to play, it just builds me up, it motivates me, and I play with a chip on my shoulder. So I'm just ready to show people that I can play in Division I ball and hopefully compete to my highest level.
So you've been here for a season now.
Yes.
You've been able
Correct.
to experience what this coaching staff is like, what they expect, what the ins and outs of the daily process of being on this Mean Green football team.
Correct.
So what has your preparation been like up to this point now that you're able to get back on the field?
I ain't gonna lie to you. It's been tough. Like the whole sitting out at Kansas State, then coming here, had to sit out again. It was tough. Just trying to be motivated and just not knowing that you're not gonna play is hard. So I feel like since this year, 2017 came around, I've had a whole different mindset. The coaches have been harder on me more than ever. They're pushing me more than ever. I'm finishing runs harder. I'm being more vocal with teammates, and it's just I feel like this is the year.
So you've been through a lot, like you said. You had to sit out these past 2 seasons, and you've had to experience your father dealing with cancer. So what keeps you going? What keeps you motivated?
Basically, really, my family. Him being in my ear, my mom, my 2 sisters, and just there's times I go around campus, people say, "I can't wait to see you play." I just can't wait, and because they see the passion from my tweets and my Instagram, and they just so excited to see me play. So I don't want to let nobody down. That's my biggest thing.
All right, September 2nd.
Yeah, 9-17.
First home game. You put on that jersey. It's time to get on that field. What's it going to feel like for you?
Probably like practice. Be honest with you, practice is so hard. We go so hard in practice. It's like another game. So I just got to go out there with a clear mind, full heart, and just give it all I got, and don't let nothing hold me back.
Your dad also played here. So have you guys ever discussed kind of continuing that English legacy here at UNT?
Oh, yeah, of course. So he played fullback, matter of fact. He played fullback here. So a lot of people don't know Coach Trail has a little something up his sleeve for me this season.
Okay.
But I don't know if I'm going to put that out there yet, but so.
You can't elaborate on it just a little bit more?
There's something up his sleeve. That's all I'm going to say.
So he's ready for you to get back on the field too?
Correct.
Okay. So you've been here for a year now. So you're kind of like a veteran. So what are you telling these new guys that are coming in to kind of buy them into the program?
Just to stay focused. It's a lot of stuff that goes on, and then biggest thing is staying in your schoolwork, books, coming to workouts on time, working hard, basically being a coach's pet while you're here. Because the more you buy into them, the more you get out.
There's been 3 early signees, and like we spoke on earlier, kind of a veteran. So how are those guys doing with working out with the team and things like that? Have you had any interaction with them?
I've had interaction with Jalen Guyton, and I think it's one more. I'm not sure. I think Jevin. I'm not sure. I haven't got to see because I'm not in his workout group, but I'm pretty sure he's working hard as well. So those 3 are going to add to a great team, and we can all build something good this year.
Well, thank you, Bryce. We really appreciate you being here, and I'm sure from all of us here from the Mean Green family, we wish you the best in your season.
All right, thanks for having me.
All right, thanks, Kara. And we're joined by offensive coordinator Graham Harrell, and he made a kind of intriguing little reference to something Seth Luttrell and you have up your sleeves. I'm sure you're not going to reveal it today, but that'll be something to watch for. Bryce English used in an unusual fashion next year, perhaps.
Bryce carrying the ball would be fun to see, probably, but we'll see if we can get
theoretically. Hypothetically, that would be
fun. But Bryce is a freak athlete, especially his size, and if he could hold on to the football, he'd probably be a pretty good running back. So we'll see what we can do with him.
So a year under your belt to establish, what your offense is about, and figure out who you were looking for. With that in mind, talk about the class that you will go to war with beginning next fall.
We're extremely excited about the guys we're bringing in, and the huge emphasis in this class was we've got to get more depth, more competitive depth at the offensive line, and I think we hit a home run with the offensive class we're bringing in, with the offensive line class we're bringing in. We're extremely excited about them, and we got some great players, and like I said, I'll put our class up against about anyone's as far as offensive line goes, and we got some great players. But more importantly, we got some great guys, you know what I mean? And guys that love the game of football, that play hard, that are good people on and off the field. And because that's what we talk about. We got to recruit to our culture, and that's who we got. And so, like I said, I think we hit a home run with the offensive line class that we signed. And that's what we said going into this recruiting period was we got to get more depth at the offensive line. And so we couldn't be happier with those guys. And really across the board, we signed a great class with a lot of great people.
Offensive line, year in, year out for any winning program has got to be a priority. And you had some a lot of returning skill people, but you have to replenish that every year too.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, you're always replenishing everything, you know. But like I said, that was just a big emphasis offensive line was. But across the board, we're happy with the guys we got. And like I said, I think we did a great job of recruiting guys that fit our culture and fit who we are. Guys that love football, guys that we know are going to take care of their business on and off the field, and will be great teammates. And if you can get those people, then you're going to have a successful team. And like I said, I think we did a really good job recruiting to our culture. Up front, skill guys, our quarterback. But we're excited about the class we brought in. And, I think it could be a staple for this program for years to come.
When you were at Tech, there were always, every year you were there, quarterbacks signed for you to compete with. So people may think, well, no, their quarterback, Mason Fine, was just a freshman last year. You always have to have numbers at that position and, be prepared for whatever may happen, whether he can play all 12 games or not. Prepare for the development, in this case, of a Cade Pearson. Mason Fine came from nowhere, basically, and started from week 2 last year. Is Cade Pearson potentially that type of talent?
Cade Pearson, I think he can be a special player. And like you said, you go sign a quarterback every year, and that's in this offense or tradition. I think most schools go and sign at least one quarterback every single signing class, regardless of who the guy that played previously is. And so competitive depth makes everyone better, and that's what we're trying to get across the board. And at the quarterback position is no different. Like I said, we want depth and competitive depth to make everyone compete. And like I said, competition makes everyone play better. And so we're excited about it. Cade, he's a great player. He has a ton of intangibles. He's smart. He takes care of the football. He has a live arm, and he's eager to learn. And so if you have that kind of, with his skill set, and a guy that loves the game as much as he does and wants to learn as much as he wants to learn, sometimes I almost have to pull him back, like, hey, we'll get there. You know what I mean? Like, just one step at a time. But he just always coming to the office, beating down the door. Hey, with him already being on campus, wanting to, hey, let's talk more football. Let's talk more about the offense. Okay, let's just process where we are now. But
coaches
but
love sponges, though.
That's right. And so I'm excited about him. He's a great guy, and he's going to be a really good player.
The teams that really did well in Conference USA last year had not just good wide receivers, they had some of the best wide receivers in the country. Louisiana Tech, Western Kentucky, 2 1,000-yard receivers. There were needs in terms of numbers there because you graduated some, but also to get some playmakers and some guys who can, break open games.
No doubt. And like you said, or like I said earlier, just getting competitive depth is huge, and I think we did a good job of doing that. And guys that will come in and work hard and that have a ton of talent and have a good skill set and can come in and compete right away. And the guys that are here, either the level of play will rise with these guys, or they'll get passed up. And that's kind of what you want in each recruiting class is for that class to come in and be able to compete and push the guys that are ahead of them and push the guys that are already playing. And so, I thought we had especially with Rico and Tyler Wilson in the ball game played well, and throughout the year had a couple young guys come in and step up and make plays for us. But like I said, we got to get more guys coming in and doing the same thing to push those guys now. And we got Jalen Guyton, who's already on campus right now, who's a big time guy. You know what I mean? And is definitely going to push guys and come help us win football games. And then we take the 2 high school kids, Greg and the other Jalen Darden, and they're just special talents. Greg's long, can move, really good ball skills. Brings us something that, a bigger body that we really don't have, or a longer body that we don't have. And Jalen Darden is just he's a water boat. You can't, you just can't touch the guy. You watch his highlights. He's fun to watch, and is a great kid, and knows he'll come in here and work. And so we're excited about the receiving crew we brought in.
Wide receivers have to catch the pass in your system. So you have to target not just guys who can, carry it 15, 20, 25 times. They've got to be multifaceted in your way of doing things here, don't they?
No doubt. And like I said, wide receivers catch the ball, running backs catch the ball, and so we want guys that are talented with the football in their hands, and we really think we got that. And Evan from over in Louisiana, you put on his highlight tape. it's unbelievable. And he plays a lot of quarterback over there. And I think a lot of that is because he's so good. They just said, we got to have this guy touch the ball every single snap. So they just straight snapped it to him and let him go to work. And he's a guy that we can put in the backfield that will probably primarily be a running back, but has great ball skills. And like I said, you can see it. That's one reason he plays quarterback. He has great ball skills. He's great with the football in his hands. So he's a guy that you can hand it to, you can throw it to, you can line him up in different positions. And once you put the ball in his hands and he has space, good luck tackling. So we're really excited about the talent that he is.
Graham, thanks. Congratulations on your second class. Now you can get some sleep.
No doubt.
All right. That is offensive coordinator Graham Harrell. We previously talked about Cade Pearson, the incoming freshman quarterback from Texas High School in Texarkana, and Kara Bullock had a chance to visit with Cade.
I'm here with Cade Pearson, quarterback from Texarkana, and he signed here in January. So what is it about UNT that intrigued you, that you had to be here?
They offered something special for me. They offered me a chance to come in and play as a freshman. And I think the reason why I graduated early is so I get a head start in the spring ball, and I have a chance to come out and compete and for a starting job.
So let's backtrack a little bit.
Okay.
Was there a specific coach that kind of pulled you in?
Obviously Graham Harrell, Coach Harrell. He's worked with me quite a bit, but obviously we have a lot to get done. You know what I mean? So
There has been quarterback competitions in the past,
Right.
But Seth Luttrell is not about seniority. It's about the best guy plays. So
Right.
what about your skill set do you think is good for this team that can take them to another bowl game?
I think the best thing I am is smart at playing football. I believe that's what always gives me a step ahead of the game. And obviously, I'm talented in other ways, but that's definitely my best skill.
All right, so have you been able to participate in any of the team activities?
I've been participating in about 2 weeks of workouts. I have 7:30s Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and I have 4:15 workouts Tuesdays and Thursdays.
So are the guys being good to you?
Oh yeah, no
are y'all
doubt.
meshing well?
They couldn't be. If they weren't, then obviously coaches would have a problem. But there's a lot of leaders. There's a lot of good things that happen in UNT.
So what's the one thing that you're excited most about for
Spring
this
ball.
upcoming season? Oh
Spring
yeah?
ball right now. That's all I'm worried about. I want to get ready and show out for the fans. Obviously, green and white football game. So it'll be good.
Your press conference that you had for your signing day when you announced that you were going to be coming to North Texas,
Yeah.
I'm sure all of us heard you say that you believe that you can be the starting guy.
Yes.
Where does that confidence come from?
That's just something that my parents have built into me. Obviously, they want me to stay humble, which I am very humble. But you can't be cocky and arrogant, but you have to know what you're capable of, and I think that's what I'm capable of.
The recruiting process, what was that like for you? Who talked to you the most to influence your decision?
Coach Brown actually brought me in, but he talked to me a little bit. Just every single Tuesday, he'd give me a phone call at night, and me and him are pretty much boys now. But obviously, I know I have respect for him; he's my coach. But Coach Harrell would obviously call me, and what led me to come to UNT is just what they're doing here. I believe in the program. I believe in what Coach Luttrell and Coach Harrell are doing, and ultimately, it gives me a chance to play.
What is it about Graham's game that you like and that you possibly want to emulate?
Well, I watched a few ball games on YouTube of him, and I just seen how he plays, and I just liked how he played. He obviously gets out of the pocket when he needs to, but he stays in, and he always executes the play. And obviously he set records in high school football in Texas, and he set records in NCAA. Still holds 3, and he's just a great guy, and I believe what he's doing.
That's got to be pretty exciting to be coached by this guy now.
Oh yeah, no doubt. He's definitely like a big figure. In the football world, he played for Green Bay for a little bit, and obviously has a Super Bowl ring when they won it in I think 2012. But yeah, that's pretty cool.
Okay, thanks for joining us, and good luck in the season.
Thank you for having me.
And we're joined now by recruiting coordinator David Stencliffe, and you orchestrate and organize and make sure that the proper visits are paid to the proper athletes, and it all comes together today.
Yeah.
What is it like when the hay is finally in the barn on signing day for you?
I get to breathe for a little bit. So, there's a lot of work that goes involved. The coaches are out on the road, away from their families. My wife is excited because I'm actually going to come home and get to hang out for a little bit instead of be at the office all night. But, and then, building our team and, building future for a championship, we feel like we've done that with this class so far. So.
And it's ongoing, and Seth talked about how during the season, you're getting ready for a game, but you're also as available sending coaches to see different prospects. It's really around the calendar now. There is not such a thing as now we start recruiting and then recruiting is all done.
No, it's 365, 24/7. I mean, my job is to think about recruiting every single minute of the day. What I do is to make sure the coaches know where they're going, help them organize. We'll evaluate prospects together. At the end of the day, it's a big team effort, but it doesn't stop. We've watched a ton of 2018s for the last 2 days, so we're already head start on that one. So,
what were the benefits from having a season under Seth's belt? Improvement, bowl appearance, near sweep of Army. How did that affect the ability to recruit the guys you were targeting this year?
Well, winning helps everything. In recruiting, it's really hard. If you're not winning, you got to work a whole lot harder. When you do win, everything comes a lot easier. And us just being as a staff together, I've been here since July. So the more we go into it, the more comfortable we'll be with each other, and things will run a lot smoother. But winning obviously is a big help going to a bowl game. Just the exposure is a lot for our team.
So we're going to put up the 2017 recruiting class and position by position again to review the letters of intent that have rolled in today. And on the offensive side of the ball, just a little capsule about each one of these guys.
Cade Pearson, obviously that's huge, having him as a mid-year guy, especially as a quarterback. That helps a lot, getting him here, learning the offense. Evan Johnson is a dynamic playmaker. A lot of people hated on him because of his size, but his balance and his 5-yard short area quickness is top notch. Trey Siggers is a guy that I think is probably one of the most overall rounded players, probably in this class and probably in the state of Texas. He can play offense, defense, special teams, and he's very dynamic with his with the ball in his hands. And then Jalen Guyton brings us, a proven guy, a little bit older, a guy that we can put inside or outside that can go up and get the ball.
Rest of the skill positions, Jalen Darden.
Yeah, so Jalen down in Houston, high school quarterback. A lot of guys, what they do now is they put just their best athletes. I've been around some All-Americans, some All-Conference players that were high school quarterbacks that played other positions, safeties, wide receivers, running backs. So we're really, really excited about him. Greg White is a big target from Georgia. He's a guy that we feel kind of similar with Jalen, that can go up and get the ball and really helps us schematically in what we want to do. And then really where we hit in my opinion, we hit the biggest home run was our offensive line class. All of these guys, from top to bottom, O-line and all the positions, character-wise is a heck of a group, but we have some straight-up maulers. Jacob Brammer is a great guy that's going to help us with some length on the edge at tackle. Jevin Palanui is a heck of a kid who is a hard worker, loves ball, and with him being a little bit older, comes in and is going to help compete right away.
Also on the offensive line, Mose Newman Parrish.
Manasseh he's a fire hydrant. They ran power probably almost every single play at Euless Trinity, and that's going to be his favorite play when he gets here. He's an absolute mauler. We love that kid, and we've been on him for a long time. Dakota Newman's just from down the road. He is a culture guy. He is a guy that's going to come in and make us tougher as soon as he steps on campus. We love his mentality, and he really fits with what we want to do. And then Brian Parrish is a long, really, really athletic tackle. So, you got him and Brammer on the outside, and then you got those core three inside. We really feel like we hit it out of the ballpark with those guys.
On to the defensive line and Krasnicki and Noville.
Yeah, so with those two D linemen, Tony gives us some length and an athletic guy. And then Dion really has the ability to play both nose or end. He's a very athletic kid. In my opinion, was an under-the-radar type guy with him being out in West Texas. But he's a basketball player. He comes from a great family. Education is extremely important to them. So we were really lucky, to get on him a little bit later and for him to jump in the boat. And then our two linebackers with Cody Fulp and Chris. Chris really gives us that ability to rush off the edge. If we're just running a rush 4, he's that type of guy that you don't have to bring pressure behind him. He can get to the quarterback himself. And then Cody is a rocked up, I think 6'2", 225. He can come in right away and he's going to look like the rest of the guys. So.
Rest of the defensive signings, we move to the secondary.
Yeah. So Cameron Johnson's a long kid from down in Houston. With all the spread offense that we have, guys are going to put the ball up in the air, and we feel like he can go up against the best of them. Tyreek right now is going to play our nickel, which is one of the hardest positions to play in our defense. It's you got to be physical in the run, but also have the athletic ability to play in the pass.
Now he was a two-sided star at Ryan. He's strictly going to be defensive.
Right now, we're going to start him off on defense. Let him get his feet wet there. But we, whatever Coach Harrell and Coach Luttrell want to do with them, maybe on a wildcat or something like that on their side of the ball. Hey, that's up to them. My job is just to get them here. So, and then the last kid, Mikhail Sanders. I'm a little favorite of him. He's from my hometown in Tyler, Texas. He's a long, rangy kid, very physical, ball hawking type of kid. I love him because his length and his ability to move in the box. So I'm really, really excited about our back end coming in this year.
Mid-year, we've already talked about Cade Pearson enrolling after graduating early from Texarkana, Texas, and Guyton Pahinui joining him already on campus.
That's huge for us. Coach talked about it at his press conference. Our major emphasis was wide receiver and O-line, and we felt like with getting those two guys, it got us on a head start to where we wanted to be in the fall. And then obviously anytime you can get a quarterback come in, especially in this offense, and the more reps you get, the more comfortable you feel. So all three of those kids are very high character, great work ethic. And that was really what we focused on for our whole entire class was character, work ethic, and the love of the game. And I think we went 18 for 18 in this class, and we still got a couple more that we have some wiggle room to play with moving on in the spring.
And now you get to start working on the class of 18, but that's for a later day.
No doubt. Well, it started a couple days ago, so we're excited about it. But yeah, never stops.
David, thanks.
Yeah, no problem. Appreciate it.
David Stencliffe, recruiting coordinator. He talked about Jevin Pahinui, and Kara Bullock talked with Jevin.
I'm with Jevin Pahinui, offensive lineman out of College of the Syracuse. All right, so Jevin, what was it about UNT that attracted you?
Overall, just the Texas surrounding. Never been to Texas before, and had connections with Coach Davis in my high school career. As when he was at Portland State, he recruited me, so it was good to bring back that relationship, to come down here, to be able to connect with him and the coaching staff here. Another one of the reasons why I came down here was because of the majoring program, the integrative studies that really brought my interest in, and that's why I'm down here.
So you're from the Washington area.
Mm-hmm.
You said you'd never been to Texas before. Mm-hmm. Is it kind of like a culture shock a little bit to you?
It's a little, especially being in Washington for 20 years. You get pretty sick and tired of the rain. So I could tell you, coming down here to the Texas sunshine, to the Texas heat, as much as it's cold as right now, I'm getting used to it. But Texas heat, I'm pretty excited for that, and it'll be something new to bring into the culture, just being down here for Texas for the first time.
So your Coach Roach from out of Washington, you guys, he posted a tweet about, congratulations. Mm-hmm. And he said, way to stick with the plan. So what was that plan?
When I first went into College of the Syracuse, I played defensive lineman, and I made a transition over to offensive lineman. And right from the start when I went in there, I told them I had my goals and my aspirations of being a Division I football player. And day in and day out, just committing myself and dedicating myself to the classroom, the football field, the weight room, just staying focused on the plan. of getting me to where I need to go and landing myself a few Division I scholarships, and most importantly, landing here at University of North Texas.
Your transition from defensive end to offensive lineman, what was that like for you?
For me, it wasn't really that big of a transition. It was just overall putting on the weight, understanding the technique, the position role in itself as being an offensive lineman. As an offensive lineman, you're pretty much the foundation of an offense. And as for me, I wanted to be a part of that. And I couldn't be more happy than switching over from the defensive side to the offensive side. And I'm glad that I'm able to say that I'm an offensive lineman now.
What was the recruiting process like for you?
It was tough. Through starting from high school, coming out of high school, I had 25 potential offers. And from not being academically eligible, from going from high school to college, and then after the transition of going to the JUCO process, it was tough. There was a lot of struggles. There was a lot of sleepless nights, hoping that the D1 call was going to be coming in. And I believed in the process, believed in the plan. I kept working forward to keep on working towards that plan. And it was just a grind, and it was really grind, and I stayed focused. And thankfully, I'm here right now.
Was there any coach on this coaching staff that kind of helped sway your decision?
Yeah, matter of fact, there was, and that coach was Coach Womack, the strength and conditioning coach here at University of North Texas. Just his foundation of building a player up to his full potential. And he was actually the first coach that I contacted to let him know that I was coming to University of North Texas. And I love him. He's been rocking and rolling with me so far, and I couldn't ask for a better coach. And most importantly, Coach Davis, position coach, and especially with that relationship that we had from a few years back from high school. I'm glad that I'm here right now.
You haven't been here in Denton too long, but have you been able to explore and get out and?
I haven't really been exploring. I've mostly been staying focused on football, school, and everything, just getting acclimated into the whole campus process. But I love it so far. Love the whole entire Texas culture. Everybody down here has been so nice, been so kind, and so welcoming for me to be here. And it's just an awesome process so far.
So have you been able to experience any of the team activities, workouts, anything like that?
Yes, yeah. I wasn't enrolled until about the second day of workout, so I had to miss team activities. But right when I got in there, those guys were so welcoming. They're forward to help me understand the philosophy of what the team roles are, and just the whole entire standpoint of what we need to do to be the best that we could be. And they've been so welcoming, and I couldn't express any more of how much these guys have been helping me so far.
Is there one thing that you can think of that you're most excited about for this new chapter in your life?
I would have to say just the rise of Texas football, of University of North Texas football. And there's a lot of things changing, a lot of things that are going to be coming here in the 2017 season that I couldn't be more excited for, that I couldn't be more thankful for, to be down here and be part of this process.
Coach Davis, his coaching style is high intensity. So is that something that you like from a coach?
I love it. I couldn't ask for anything more. And especially as an offensive lineman, you sort of need that kind of push. You need that kind of motivation and that kind of adversity to be able to keep on moving forward. And especially to have Coach Davis be that uptight, technician type of coach. You couldn't ask for a better coach as an offensive lineman. And I'm glad that he's my position coach, and we're able to move forward in the spring, as it's going to be a whole entire acclimation process, getting coached by a new coach. But I believe that I can be able to handle it and move forward.
Thanks, Jevin, for joining us, and good luck on your season.
Thank you very much. Go Mean Green.
He already knows how to say that very well. We're joined now by Steve Gamble of the Denton Record Chronicle, beat writer for the Ryan Raiders, and you've seen Tyreek Davis for quite some time. Tell us about what he brings to the program here.
He brings a lot of things. There's several different things about Tyreek that I love. On the field, he's an impact player. And the biggest thing is he's versatile. You mentioned a couple of times earlier in the show he's played on both sides of the ball as both a linebacker and a running back, but he started at both positions. It's very difficult to do, and to be able to maintain a high motor in two different classifications. Ryan was playing at the 6A level and then dropped down to 5A this past season. A lot of quality competition along the way, and Tyreek was a machine all over the field, getting up close to the ball and was able to attack, and being able to carry that over to the offensive side of the ball. There's just a different mindset when he's on the field. The players feed off of his intensity, and he's got a great nose for the football, and he attacks with a lot of intensity, and he's just got a nose for the football. As you can see there through the highlights, I mean, just getting up on a player and being able to take the ball away and flip field position for his team.
As you were watching him, did you think he could play either side at the college level, or did you see him as, no, I think he eventually projects as a safety or as a running back?
I really do feel like he projects more on the defensive side of the ball, but with that being said, that's not a slight against his offensive ability. Ryan has a lot of quality running backs, but the way that he hits the hole and the way that he attacks each play is just, for lack of, I mean, it's just different than anybody else that I've seen in a while. But he translates more to the defensive side of the ball. That's where his head's at. And he's a versatile guy that can do a number of different things for you on that side of the ball.
Nice thing about any kid that comes from Ryan or Geyer, for that matter, and increasingly from Denton High School, is they're used to winning. They bring that expectation here.
Absolutely. Denton Ryan, if memory serves, they're 27-2 over the last 2 seasons alone. Tyreek has been on varsity at Ryan for the last 3 seasons. He was our newcomer of the year as a sophomore and our MVP prior to this past season. And so, yes, the expectation is there. And Ryan in particular really hangs its hat. They're known for winning, and they win because they hang their hat on their defense. And they've had a lot of great players that have come through there. Mario Edwards being one, Jarvis Moss, Derek Loki, all guys that moved on to the NFL. Tyreek Davis fits that mold of somebody who comes in and just is an impact guy and can benefit a team from in a multitude of ways.
Fans, I think, always expect that college will have a built-in advantage to recruit a local high school product, which is definitely not the case. I mean, the Texas fans always think they should get every Austin kid. How did Drew Brees leave Austin to go to Purdue? Sometimes they just want to leave home. Denton's no different. In 1 year under Seth Luttrell, how do you see the reception from Ryan and from other Denton High School athletes in terms of the chance to stay here and play their college ball?
Well, I think the biggest key is that North Texas has been a lot more present, a lot more relationship driven in a lot of these coaches and players' minds. They're very present at practices. At whatever's going on at the school, they're always there. They're talking to the players as much as they possibly can. North Texas was actually the first ones to offer Tyreek Davis, and I think that spoke volumes.
That means a lot.
It does.
The schools that get in early, that a lot of times is the deciding factor, no matter who comes in later.
It does. I didn't have the opportunity to play college football, but the ones that do have that opportunity, there's a lot that goes into it. You're getting looks from a lot of different universities all across the country, and when you're a local kid, you're thinking, well, geez, all these schools are interested in me, and I've got a great opportunity. Let me start looking elsewhere. But here you are, you've got North Texas, and you've got a young, energetic coaching staff. You're coming off of a bowl season. Wins are obviously very important, but if I think Luttrell has done a fantastic job. I think that if you can build off this past season and then continue what you're doing as far as the loyalty factor and just being interested in being a relationship driver in the community, that's going to get more kids to say, hey, why would I go anywhere else?
Steve, thank you.
Absolutely, appreciate it.
Appreciate your giving us a little preview of what Tyreek Davis brings here.
Thanks for having me.
Steve Gamble of the Denton Record Chronicle. Let's again take a look ahead at the upcoming schedule coming next fall. Teams coming to Apogee Stadium. And as we wrap up our look at recruiting 2017, we're joined by Zach Barnett, national writer, columnist for footballscoop.com, weekly contributor on NBC Radio, the man who will one day select my nursing home. Thanks for being with us. So on a national perspective, I think the biggest story has got to be, did losing the national championship game hurt Alabama at all, help Clemson at all winning that national championship? Did anybody flip just because of that?
First of all, nice to meet you.
I've heard good things about you.
To answer your question, absolutely not. I wrote this week that the Alabama football locomotive is only gaining steam. And it's amazing the guys that they're able to sign. They're number one in 3 of the top 4 services. They signed, they played true freshman quarterback Jalen Hurts this year, and then they go out and recruit the number 1 dual threat quarterback. They recruit the number 1 running back, the number 1 linebacker, the number 1 offensive lineman. So, they're only getting better. Whereas in the past they had to rely on defense. Now, as long as Steve Sarkisian works out, their offense is going to be as good as their defense, and it's going to be, just a game to catch up with them.
So Nick Saban just selects. Here's who I want. I know they will come. It's still at that level for Alabama.
He loses a couple guys that he really wants, but you look at the end result and it's hard to see that.
Did he lose anybody to FAU with Lane Kiffin taking over there?
No, he didn't. I don't know.
But Lane Kiffin still had a good class.
Yeah, he the 2 classes that the services were liked in Conference USA were UTSA and FAU. And if you talk to coaches, I'm sure Seth will tell you the same thing. But that first class, when you first get there, 2-3 years down the line, a lot of times it doesn't stay together because you don't know them, they don't know you. You're just kind of trying to throw it together, on the fly a little bit. So if they can keep that together, it'll be a very good class for them.
Who else is going to get the plaudits for bringing in a great class? Ohio State is maybe a late signee or 2 from surpassing Alabama.
Yeah, they've signed a little bit smaller class. They only have 21 guys, whereas Alabama and Georgia signed 25, 26. But, the defensive players they've signed have been incredible. It's one of the best defensive classes I've seen since I've followed recruiting. They've come in and recruited Texas like Mac Brown used to recruit Texas. They got Baron Browning, the number 1 linebacker in the state. They got the number 1 running back in the state, number 1 defensive back in the state. They got Kendall Sheffield, a JUCO guy that was a 5-star a couple years ago. They originally signed with Alabama. They got him to go. So, Alabama and Ohio State are kind of playing their own game at this point, at least when it comes to recruiting.
Texas has a new coach, but a lot of high school 4- and 5-stars have been leaving the state of Texas. Is that going to change?
The product on the field has to change first. A&M has kind of treaded water since the Johnny Manziel years. Texas has been down for a long time. You're down 3-4 years on the field. That's a lifetime in recruiting. Baylor's gone through what they've gone through. TCU had a down year. So you've seen Ohio State, LSU, USC come in and really pillage the state in a way we haven't really seen at the top level since the Southwest Conference days.
North Texas, year 2 for Seth Luttrell. What's your impression of his haul today?
I think they hit everything they needed to. I think they got a quarterback to challenge Mason Fine. They really needed to upgrade the offensive line. I think the 5 guys they signed there are probably the 5 of the most important players in the program right now. And then Jalen Guyton's a guy that I really like. On the outside, they said they need speed, they need playmakers. I'll be really, really surprised if he's not, starting and making a lot of plays on Saturdays this fall.
So a couple of weeks ago, you were up in Nashville for the American Football Coaches Association convention, and you heard speaker after speaker and got a sense of the evolution of the sport. How do you see football changing in a way that will affect a program like North Texas?
Well, I think the big thing that's out there right now is the 10th assistant coach that's kind of working its way through the legislative cycle, but it looks like it's going to pass. So, it's going to be up to each staff to how they want to use that. Maybe a full-time special teams guy, full-time recruiting guy that can really focus on recruiting while the coaches are coaching. I think that's going to be something that a lot of help out a lot of coaches. And then the other big thing is an early signing day. It looks like probably this coming December there'll be a signing period there, so where this isn't just National Signing Day. And I think coaches and players will like that because it gets the process over earlier with, and then if I'm coach and you're my linebacker recruit and I say, all right, I'm going to send you our NLI on December 20th, I hope you sign it. Well, coach, I can't sign that. Oh, why? It's going to bring some accountability to make it a two-way street recruiting a little bit earlier. I think that'll help coaches and players.
Zach Barnett, national columnist, footballscoop.com, and you can be followed on Twitter with the handle?
ZACH, thanks him for that, _ BARNETT.
Big fan of your work.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us here as we wrap up our look at the recruiting class for 2017 here at North Texas. A reminder that you can join the entire coaching staff at a signing day celebration coming up this evening, 5 to 7 tonight at the Hub Club in Apogee Stadium. This is free and open to the public. Season tickets are now on sale through the North Texas Athletics ticket office. You can purchase or renew by calling 800-UNT-2366 or by going online to meangreensports.com. North Texas opening the 2017 season at home against Lamar September 2nd. Plenty of events to put on your calendar this spring, including the Hall of Fame luncheon and green-white spring football game, both April 8th. The luncheon at the Hub Club at 11:30, followed by the spring game at 2, and the Don January Golf Tournament on April 17th. Trophy Club, register online at meangreensports.com. Softball season also is near. North Texas hosting the Mean Green Invitational to open the season February 10th through the 12th. That will do it. Thanks for joining us on our look on meangreensports.com at the 2017 recruiting class for North Texas. For now, Dave Barnett, thanking you for joining us, and fall will be here before we know it. We'll see you then.